Guys, I'm really excited today. We've partnered with Logitech, who are a wonderful bunch of people. And they sent me a whole load of goodies. And these boxes arrived. Do you see how many boxes? It's a very exciting delivery. Let me show you. So this is where we're at today. So this is under the table. This is above the nonsense. So I can show you the keyboard, so I can show you the mouse, so I can show you the pedals, and I can also show you this, which is Logitech G Hub, which deals with all of the glorious lighting. Do the keys light up? Yeah, they go to sleep to save battery. And this is the software that comes with this stuff, and it works with the Logitech G products, right? So they're all on here. You might have noticed that I have maybe set them to orange. Take a guess why. So you can do all of this stuff. So yeah, you can fix it, you can cycle it, you can change the rate, you can do all of this, and you can do animations and all of this sort of stuff, which I really like. But what I would like to show you audio visualizer, my friends. I want to show you something that you won't be able to see very much because they're speakers, so you can't hear them and you can't see them because I don't have another camera, but I want to show you them anyway because they're great. This is the screen sampler, my friends. And the speakers react to what's on the screen. So you can see this one here. You can see this one here is over continue, which is orange. So my left speaker, the backlight is orange. And I think I'm gonna play around with it a little bit and try and get it to sample the corner where the alerts are in OBS. So when you guys cheer and subscribe and something, the speaker comes up as potato colored. And then here is the mouse. I'll tell you a little bit about it, but same deal. You can do all of this nonsense. You can do a fixed one. We'll make it Logitech colors as well. Should we talk about assignments? Guys, this is a game changer for Elite Dangerous. I'm just gonna tell you now. So when you install this program, it scans for games. And then it creates a profile for the games and it scans for keybind folders. And then this shows you what your keybinds are. I haven't imported this. These have been imported by G Hub. And do you wanna know the even better thing? The profile is automatic. So when you launch the game, you don't have to change the profile, it just does it. It just does it for you. So my favorite thing is that I have Pip Macros on these side buttons here. So when I start Elite, this profile automatically comes up, which changes my mouse to have my Pip Macros. So when I'm like normally browsing, it's just in the generic profile, and these two buttons rebind in my generic profile to be browser back and browser forward. You can see how I hold my mouse here. I have doodah, and then I do that with the scroll wheel, and then my thumb is on this one, and this finger is on the side buttons. So this is the mouse. I'll talk more about this later, but I just want to give you guys a rundown so you can see what I'm using, and then I'll get into the game and explain what I'm doing. Those feet haven't moved in the past 5 minutes. Not sure they're real. They're real. They're real. All of these features are really cool, but the pedals are going to be the thing that changes my play in Elite very much. I cannot even begin to tell you how much better they are from my previous ones for a couple of reasons. Firstly, they're spaced. So if you think about posture and you think about, the kind of recommended posture, people say you should stand and sit with your feet hip width apart, right? If you look at other pedals, they're like this. And that means that your knees are going in and that your feet are, anyway, from a posture point of view, I think they're fantastic. Also, they don't feel, I said this earlier, but they don't feel plasticky. My previous pedals, I've got them down there and I did a little bit of a comparison. They're very plasticky and they like rattled. And the reason that I didn't bind the rudder look, it won't do it while we're in the station. The reason why I didn't bind this rudder look is because it was too, the tension wasn't enough, basically. It wasn't precise. So I would look to one side and it would be like, whoa, look to one side. And same the other way around. And the other thing, I'll just show you this. I've pushed this the tiniest little amount. If I now let this go, do you see how quickly they snap back? That did not happen with my previous pedals. And so this is the tension wheel where you can change that. And great news, friends, you can do it with your feet. This mat, friends, is a wireless charging mat. You don't have to plug the mouse in. This is also a receiver. So you don't need a separate receiver. You don't need to plug it in. Let's fly some flight assist off, shall we, friends? This is the first time you've seen me do this. No pressure. No pressure, guys. Don't worry. Don't get up, Kolo. I have very weird controls for Elite Dangerous. At least people tell me that they're weird. I use WASD, but I don't use WNS for throttle. My forward throttle is my left pedal. I know, guys. I know. And my reverse is my is my right. The big reason that I use pedals is because it kind of makes me feel like a pilot. I know many of you use HOTAS for that, but sort of makes me feel a little bit more like a pilot. But also because I really wanted to fly a keyboard mouse and I don't have enough hands to be able to manipulate all of the thrusters at the same time. Q and E are my roll, and W and S are my up and down. The rudder pedals are my looks. And yes, you can fly forwards and look at the same time. So you can do super funky turns. Which I quite like. Up and down is pitch. Thank you, guys. I promise I've been playing this game for a while. And then very strangely, caps and shift are my up and down thrusters, which is a little bit bizarre. But for me and my hands, it makes perfect sense because I can get to them. I can get to them very easily. It's not a massive reach. I'm not stressing my hands out doing this. Which key to use for the Rickroll? This one right here. That's the one that I use for the Rickroll. Cars in the UK is the gas pedal on the left. Nope, I bound these before I started driving and it shows. Which key is the goose? This one. That's the goose key. The thing that took me the longest to get used to with flight assist off is the turns. And like lining up with the station. I recommend that if you're going to turn flight assist off and have a little go at it, I'm going to thoroughly recommend that you do not do it before you undock, guys. Just don't do it. And this is the easy way to spin in flight assist off, is to put your nose up and throttle back, or alternatively the other way around. And it makes your turns tighter. If you boost, we're going to do it now. We're going to boost, and then we're going to put our nose down, and then we're going to go forwards. And that, my friends, is a super tight turn. So again, something that I would recommend, and I will preface this with saying I am by no means an expert in flight assist off. I'm still learning. It takes a very long time. If you start doing it and you've never done it before, please just don't judge yourselves. Be kind to yourselves, because it is a very, very hard thing to do. And people like Wendel Untouchable, who, if you want to see somebody who is super skilled at flight assist off, please go and see him. Also, fly something you can afford to crash multiple times. Yeah, I'm just going to line up and then I'm going to tell you a little bit about this. But this is a virtually invincible build, and you'll see why in a little while, because I'm going to fly that outer ring that's lit up. I'm going to go underneath that. I'm going to fly around it, and it requires more than anything constant adjustment and readjustment. And the best way to demonstrate that is, I mean, you can see it now. So I'm attempting to stay lined up with the mail slot, right? And you can see how much manipulation this is taking from my thrusters. Constant adjustment and readjustment to be able to stay lined up, and I'm still not perfectly lined up. I've spent a lot of time out in the black since I started flight assist off as well. Should we request docking permission? They're going to tell me off for speeding. Let's try. Can I have some points to Gryffindor, please? Side panels. 1 opens my left panel, 2 opens my top left, 4 opens my bottom right. Smooth, 7 out of 10. I'm not sure I deserve that. So I was like, yeah, let's go and do some flight assist off outside. And then I was like, oh my God, I've been in the black for like 6 weeks. I haven't flown flight assist off for like 6 weeks. I was like, God, was this a good idea? Like, are you sure this is a good idea? Okay, so I control the menu. So one is bottom left, MC. 2 is top right. 3 is middle panel. And 4 is to the right, and then Q and E are between these bad boys. That keyboard is slightly askew. Is that better for you, MSB? Now it's askew the other way. I'm sorry that it's not perfectly lined up. How does that feel? It's worse now. How dare you? And then it's W and S to go up, spacebar to enter. The mouse charge pad isn't lined up. Well, I'm sorry, guys. I'm just trying to be comfortable with my control scheme, all right? Yeah, just tilt your head, guys. It'll be fine. Just tilt your head. Just pretend we're an upside down world. And do you know what? It's not wired. So do you know what we can do? We can just do a cheeky little... There we go. So, keybinds. There's a lot of keybinds in Elite, eh? I can never remember what they all are. And especially when you're exploring and you're doing the same thing, like the same... Look at your left panel and then go to the galaxy map to replot the next route or to check something. Actually, I'll show you this up close. So these M keys, this one's M1, M2, and M3. And then these are macro keys here. There's 5 of them, but there's 15. So M1 gives you 5, M2 gives you another 5, M3 gives you another 5. One button. This is when we were jumping loads and replotting loads. It's just super easy. One button. So to request docking permission, I would do 1 to open the navigation panel. I'd go across 2, down 1, across 1, and click enter.
Docking request denied.
So that would be the sequence. Without the macro, that would be the sequence to do it. So what we can do here is I can press this button here, which is MR, which is macro record. So I'm going to press that, and it's going to go a nice shiny little red. And then I'm going to press this button, which is the one that I want to record it to. And then I'm going to do the sequence. And then we're going to press 1. We're going to press E twice. We're going to go down 1. We're going to go across 1. And we're going to press enter.
Request denied.
And then I'm going to press 1 to get us back out of that screen. And now I'm going to press the macro record button. And that's set. That's sorted. That's on G2. So if I press G2, look, Ma, no hands.
Docking request denied.
So that's the idea. Basically what I'm trying to demonstrate to you is that you can record macros on the fly. Also, if you look at my Pip macros, let me just screw them up so they don't make any sense. And I want all of my pips in engines and something little in systems. You can macro all of that. And that's just doing the same thing, pressing the keybinds, but that's for the mouse that's through G Hub. Which mouse do you recommend if you run out of fuel? This one. G903, because it's easier to call the fuel rats. So we're going to go and do a little bit of nonsense. I'm going to take a little bit of stuff out of thrust because... out of engines, because these thrusters are slightly too powerful for what I want to do here. So this is one of the first things that I learned how to do in Fly Assist Off, and this is when I've demonstrated this before, this is when you guys have been like, Kolo, can you show us what you're doing? Now, what I'm doing doesn't really look like I'm doing that much, but you can see my holo is a good place to look, but you can also see exactly the adjustments and readjustments I'm doing just to try and stay standing in the same place. Part of that reason is because this station is rotating. So I am focusing on the same point, but I'm also trying to keep exactly the same distance while the station is rotating, and moving away from me and around from me and all of that kind of stuff. Let me show you this one, and you'll be able to see it. You should be able to maybe just see my holo, but if we go and give it a little kiss, you can see here the consistent adjustment. And this is why I play a keyboard mouse, guys. Because this is the amount of readjusting that you need to do to be able to even just stay in one place, let alone fly in a straight line. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fly under here. I'm going to get under here if I can. Let's hope I can. Let's hope so, friend. Let's hope so. And then, again, this is not something that you can do at all. Fly Assist Off, this is not something that you can do at all. Let's put our... And that should, hopefully... I need to follow it the other way. Bear with me. This is an incredibly difficult thing to do, if you're wondering. I'm also in an FDL, which is not quite a sidewinder, to say the least. There we go. So if I'm now stable, and it will forever bleep at you, because I guess you're kind of not really supposed to do this. Playing the game the Kolo way, right? But you can get under all of these places with Fly Assist Off that you just things that you can't do when your flight assist on. And the pedals really help me with that because I can dedicate my hands to using all of the other thrusters. We're still at full shields, my friends. It requires practice, what can I say? I have not flown this badly in so long. And it's shaded. If any stream I needed to fly well, it's this one. I'm just gonna de-dock. Okay, let's find an asteroid field. All right, let's see how we do here. Should we turn some night vision on? Might help. So I'll explain a little bit about flight assist off and stuff as well. A sidey is actually a really good thing to practice in, especially a stock sidey, because it's cheap if you crash. So this is a really good thing to do, is to fly around an asteroid. You can see the number of tiny adjustments that I'm doing here. What my little finger is doing on the keys is thrusting up, and that's down. So you can see exactly how many and how much concentration it's taken me to pull this off. So the idea is that with flight assist off, your facing is not the same as the direction that you are traveling in. Flight assist off is like flying a spaceship as opposed to flying in an aeroplane. You are perpetually in motion, really. Your thrusters don't automatically adjust to anything. Taking your input controls to 0 doesn't affect anything in terms of making you stop. I'll show you what I mean. You keep going. So you have to continually adjust and readjust to make sure that you are in the right place, doing the right thing. It's a very, very tricky thing to do. If you haven't tried it, I thoroughly recommend that you go and try it. This is why I play keyboard mouse. Because can you imagine trying to do this kind of precise adjustment? You can also have a look at my holo. If we go back to this one, if you have a little look at my holo, you can see the amount of wiggling around that my ship is doing, and that's just to stay close to the rock, basically. So it requires a lot of adjustment. I'm not saying that you can't do it on HOTAS, and some people do, but personally, I can't do that because I need the precision. So you can see my mouse widget, and what I'm going to try and do is just keep myself facing that particular crack in the rock, just there at the same point. Obviously the rock is spinning, and even if the rock wasn't spinning, even if it was still, I wouldn't be. So I would still be continually having to adjust my thrusters to be able to basically cope with this. This is a really good thing to do. If you're new to flight assist off, I would recommend doing this as station, not in an asteroid field, because it's slightly less dangerous. Whatever you do, do not dock, turn it off, and try and undock. Don't do that. Don't do that. Undock, fly far away from the station, and then turn it on. And the best way to have a little look at the direction that you're traveling in is by paying attention to the space dust that's going around your down your windscreen, kind of spinning past our windscreen like that. From a central point. So at the moment, she says, it's kind of spinning from my mouse widget, which is that orange dot in the center just there. It's kind of coming out of that. It's kind of coming out of that. And that is the way that you figure out which direction you're traveling in, really. So you can see the space dust. And then what I'm going to do is continue flying in that direction. I'm going to face this direction. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to face this direction, and I'm going to thrust down, and I'm slowly pulling my mouse up, which is going to maintain my vector in that way. So now you can see that the space dust is actually going from the bottom of the cockpit to the top, and that's because we are traveling effectively down. There's no down in space, but you can see what I mean. We are thrusting down, but traveling in the same direction that we were traveling before. And so the really important things about this stuff is the response rate, right? The light speed, that Logitech call it light speed. And I think that's the big issue with wireless, or the perceived issue with wireless. And I think that used to be the case, but this has a 1 ms response rate. Like it is as fast as wired technology. And obviously that's really important because if I'm about to hit an asteroid, I want to make sure that when I press that button, I'm going to move. So yeah, this has been Logitech. This has been Logitech. This has been all of the fancy toys and lovely things that they sent up, and a little bit about Flight Assist Off and my control scheme. It's something that I get asked about so much, and hopefully this has helped kind of clarify things, my key bindings and my control scheme in general, because it is really super rare actually to fly keyboard, mouse and pedals. There are a lot of people who fly keyboard, mouse, particularly PvP pilots. A lot of them fly keyboard, mouse, but I think the addition of pedals is not so common. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out, and thanks for coming to check out all of this lovely stuff and see how I fly. I know you've all wanted to have a little look at my my controls for a while, and it's really nice that Logitech helped make that happen. Goodbye and thanks for all of this. This is why Kolo needs wireless equipment. Look at this. Look at this. It's gross. It's horrible. I have just moved in. I will sort it before the office door, guys. I promise.